The Eagles add a former Patriot cornerback, plus the team received some great injury news yesterday, and Sean Mannion discusses what he saw from that sluggish offensive output Saturday in their preseason game. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Eagles Latest here on FanArch. Want to thank our friends over at Kalshi for sponsoring the video and the channel. Make sure to head over to Kalshi there to get your trades in for the NFL season. We're going to talk about a trade that I like on the app in just a little bit, and it is in regards to the total wins the Eagles will have this season. So stick around for that. But first, want to talk about the new addition to the roster as Howie Roseman continues to tinker with the 90-man squad for now, and they end up bringing in former New England Patriot cornerback Isaiah Bolden. And Bolden is a former 7th-round pick from the Patriots. He played in 14 games in his second season, was placed on the injured reserve back in 2023, which was his rookie year, and then ended up signing to the practice squad back in 2024. He was released by New England last August, was on the Niners practice squad for a while, and then ended up signing a contract earlier this year with the Louisville Kings of the UFL. But now he finds himself as a Philadelphia Eagle. To make room for the move, the Eagles did release Holland Pierce, a highly touted undrafted free agent last year out of Rutgers. He signed for $180,000 in total guarantees, the most for an offensive lineman in that class. Pierce has been waived twice, but spent his entire rookie season on the practice squad for the Eagles. So Pierce had a little bit of an uphill battle to try and get on this roster. Although he did stick around last year, Pierce drew the short straw right now, and now he really couldn't get off the third team. Miles Hinton, another tackle that transitioned to guard. John Okukwu is also there, and Willie Lampkin jumped Pierce on the depth chart. So he's really buried down there, and the development just never really took place for Pierce, and the Eagles decided to move on. So the question is, does Bolden really have a roster shot? And right now, he's more of a camp body at this point in training camp, someone to just bring to add some depth to the 90-man roster. Jacorian Bennett was injured early in the game on Saturday and did not return, so that's probably why Mac McWilliams ended up playing the majority of that game against Baltimore on Saturday. And the Eagles are just having to get through the preseason, where that's where Bolden comes in, right? He can give the Eagles some game tape for his career and compete for a spot on the practice squad. So be very surprised if he sticks around, but nonetheless, Howie Roseman's just always making moves, always adding depth, especially with the injury list that got really long after Saturday's game. It was as long as a CVS receipt. If you shop at CVS at times, you know how long those receipts can be, and we'll talk about the injuries here in just a moment. But Isaiah Bolden, former New England Patriot cornerback, now with the Philadelphia Eagles, leading into the joint practice week, of course, with his former team, as the Eagles and Patriots will practice one another Wednesday and Thursday in Foxborough before squaring off on Saturday for week 2 of the preseason season. I guess just preseason, right? So anyway, the little tiny move there for the Eagles, and we'll see if Bolden ends up finding a way to stick around, but it would be quite unlikely at this juncture of the summer. Now, some really good news here for the Philadelphia Eagles in terms of injury news. They have been dealing with the wide receivers, Devontae Smith and Mekhi Lemon, with hamstring injuries. Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell missed late practice last week. Obviously didn't play in the preseason game. Well, 3 of those 4 players returned to the practice field in action, including DeJean, Mitchell, and Smith, which is all great to see, especially Devontae Smith. He did seem like he was trending upward late last week, running routes, doing some agility drills, and he did participate in practice yesterday. He was designated as limited participation dealing with the hamstring injury. But it was good to see Smith back. Had a helmet on yesterday. Did not take part in the team drills, but he's ramping up with some position work. Perhaps he will be ready to practice against New England this week, which would be a lot of fun because we know everybody will be comparing what he and A.J. Brown do during the practices because they certainly won't be seeing game time on Saturday. Cooper DeJean also returned, which was good to see. He was dealing with a groin issue late last week, and Quinyon Mitchell was designated with a glute injury. He also came back to yesterday's practice. So obviously, your two top cornerbacks back on the field. That's obviously what you want to see if you're the Philadelphia Eagles. And Mekhi Lemon also dealing with a hamstring. Did not practice. I think that's his 8th or 9th straight practice that he did not participate in, but he did get some rehab work in on the side field away from the rest of the team. Lemon's workout included running some routes. He also took part in a catch circuit where almost everyone on the team practiced catching the football after team drills ended. So there are some signs that the 20th overall pick for the Eagles this year is getting closer to returning. And obviously, we've talked about that a lot here, but that's what you want to see, right? I mean, this is a guy that has missed a lot of time already. He's not the only rookie wide receiver who's been banged up. Jordan Tyson of New Orleans just pulled his hamstring, and he's going to be out for at least 2 months. There's some other rookie wide receivers that are nicked up at this point already, so not saying like, oh, this is okay for Mekhi Lemon to be missing time, but he's not the only rookie wide receiver right now that is injured or being hampered with an injury that is not allowing him to fully participate in his rookie season. But it does seem like he's trending upward. Hopefully, we'll see Mekhi Lemon practice maybe during the joint practices, if not maybe early next week, depending on how everything goes. But he's starting to ramp up, and that's what you want to see from the rookie because you spent 20th overall pick. You moved up to get him. He is essentially factored into this equation of the offense, which we're going to talk about after we wrap up here with Lemon, that he needs to be on the field. He needs to continue to learn. He needs to be there to develop a connection with Jalen Hurts. Obviously, he could take all the mental reps in the world, but it's also good to be out there and do it physically going up against NFL competition because we've seen what Eli Stowers has been going through, the second-round tight end. He's struggling right now, just to kind of put it all together after a really athletic and impressive college career where he wrapped up at Vanderbilt. Not saying that would be the same case for Mekhi Lemon, but it's a lot different when you're going up against another breathing human being aside from just taking the mental reps, standing on the side, and just watching. So the sooner that Mekhi Lemon can get back on the field, the better for the Philadelphia Eagles. Before we talk about the offense, want to talk about our new partner in Kalshi. This is the place you want to be to trade and believe in what you want to believe in and put some money on it and see where it lands up. Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house, and as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your positions, trade the draft pick, the game, and more on Kalshi. You can download the Kalshi app and use the code FANARCHFOOTBALL to get $10 when you trade $10. Now, you can do that, and I found a trade that I rather like. It is the Eagles to have 11 or more wins this season. Now, it's on the lower side in terms of the market believing in the Eagles winning 11 or more games. It's at 45% or 48% chance, So if you were to take $100 and trade it on the Kalshi market that the Eagles would win 11 or more games, that would net you just under $204 total at $203.66. So you would be doubling your money if you trade that the Eagles will win 11 plus wins this season. So go to Kalshi, 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 trade on everything, 18 plus only, and of course, gamble responsibly. But that is a trade I like over there at Kalshi, our newest sponsor for the show and channel, and we certainly thank them for the partnership. Now, moving forward to the offense, Sean Mannion spoke to the media yesterday, and obviously the question surrounded the first year play caller about why the offense struggled so much, what the problem was, and what are they going to do to fix it. And Mannion seemed quite confident in what they're going to do. Mannion said, obviously, we want to have a better performance offensively than what we put on tape, but there are things that they need to correct. And he said the biggest thing that stood out to him in the game was they weren't on schedule, and that is always key, right? In football, you want to be on schedule. You want to get positive yardage. You don't want to move backwards, obviously. You don't want to have a big play get negated by a penalty, which happened a couple times, and that forced the Eagles to have a handful of first and longs, second and longs. He mentioned the penalties that led to a lot of that. Also, some negative runs that really didn't go anywhere. But he pretty much said if they are able to stay on schedule better and kind of eliminate those situations and miscues on early downs, they'll keep themselves in more manageable third down situations. Obviously, the Eagles really struggled on third down in Saturday's loss. And then Mannion was asked, how much of that is a product of still learning the scheme and getting comfortable inside of that. And Mannion said a lot of it comes down to fundamentals and execution. And he believes that the team is in a good place mentally as an offense. There really weren't a ton of mental errors from the game, which is encouraging. He said there's a lot of young guys out there. It's their first time in live game action. It's not scripted. It's all calling it from the sideline. And Mannion said he was pretty encouraged with the mental side of things and just carrying that fundamental work from practice to a game setting. And that was his biggest takeaway in that regard. Speaking of calling plays on the sideline, Mannion did say that he is looking to go to the booth this weekend when they play New England just to get both perspectives. He did say that everything went rather smoothly on the sideline on Saturday. Mannion went on to say that he felt comfortable, thought that the staff did a great job, the communication was clear, said that no plays really got jacked up because they were caught with the Ravens substituting late or anything like that, and he thought the line of communication was clear, and he was happy how the quarterbacks were able to get in and out of the huddle, which is obviously a big point of emphasis for Mannion this season. But he did say that the plan is always to go up to the booth as well, and he thinks it's going to be an interesting perspective, and we'll see what he prefers. Does he prefer to be on the sideline with his quarterback, Jalen Hurts, and the offense, or will he be up in the booth and they relay it down through the phones on the sideline and other communication methods here in 2026? So certainly something to keep an eye out for. But the Eagles offense obviously wants to put a better product out there. It certainly was ugly. They only had 200 yards of offense against the Ravens on Saturday. And we talked about it yesterday a little bit about I'm not really panicking yet. Obviously, it's preseason. The number ones didn't play, obviously, but you would like to see a little bit more, right? Even if it is the backups that are playing, because they're learning the offense too, and they're trying to grasp it as well. But it wasn't the greatest start for the offense to start the season, at least in the preseason portion. But they certainly have the 2 joint practices and 2 more games to iron everything out before the September 13th home opener and season opener against Washington. So just some notes there from Mannion. I think he's really confident in what he wants to do. I just think that he has, I don't want to say the if factor compared to Kevin Patullo, but it just seems like he has a roadmap and he's going to follow it, where Kevin Patullo just didn't seem like he really had a plan, or if he did, it didn't seem like there was a lot of self-belief in it. The players didn't really seem like they bought in, although, they said it was on them all last year and that they weren't executing. I do think that this offense is going to benefit the Eagles moving forward. It is going to just take some time to continue to translate that from the practice where it's scripted and they're saying, okay, hey, we're running this. This is where you got to be, to, all right, this is the game. We got to adjust on the fly maybe. We're getting the plays in real time. There's no walking through it to make sure that I'm in the right spot or I'm where I need to be or this is the right route I got to run. And you kind of just wing it at times, especially with these younger guys, as Mannion mentioned, who might have been playing in their first game of professional football or just their first game action this season, obviously. So it will certainly be something to watch moving forward. There's no doubt about that. As always, I appreciate you tuning in here. That will just about do it for this episode of Eagles Latest. And please hit that like button. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We're pushing 500 subscribers. Would love to get to that mark before the start of the season. And Fan Arch and Eagles Latest is where you can get all your latest news and updates during training camp. And of course, throughout the regular season. And hopefully a nice long playoff run as well for the Eagles. But it has been a busy preseason so far. The Eagles get ready for their joint practices on Wednesday and Thursday against the New England Patriots. That will be certainly fun to watch. Keep your eyes out on X, Instagram, wherever you get your Eagles updates, and then make sure to come back here to Eagles Latest as I will help recap and comb through everything to keep you up to date moving forward. Again, you can take Eagles Latest on the go via podcasts on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And of course, don't forget to download Kalshi and use the fan code FANARCHFOOTBALL to get $10 when you trade 10 on the Live Market app. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Eagles back in action before they get ready for the joint practices, and there'll be plenty to talk about.